Thanks for tuning in to the Old Dirty Basement. On this week's episode, we're covering Billy Milligan.
Billy Milligan, also known as the campus rapist, also known as Christine, also known as Reagan, also known as Adelena.
Arthur, an Englishman. I'm really smart in science.
Yeah,
And more often than not, I'm in charge.
that's right. So this will be part 1 of 2 on Billy Milligan. So we hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to leave that 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you're at. And sit back, relax, and enjoy part 1 of Billy Milligan.
This is the Old Dirty Basement, home to debauchery, madness, murder, and mayhem. A terror-filled train ride deep into the depths of the devil's den.
With a little bit of humor.
History.
And copious consciousness.
I'm your announcer, Shallow Throat. Your hosts are Dave, Matt, and Zap. I love you, Matthew McConaughey. All right, all right, all right.
Hey, this is Dave,
Matt.
And Zap.
And welcome to the Old Dirty Basement.
where every week we cover a true crime.
Murder.
Or compelling story.
So sit back.
Relax.
And comprehend.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Old Dirty Dirty. I am Matt. With me always is Dave and Zap.
What's going on?
How's
Nothing,
it going,
man.
man? How's it going?
I switched it up.
Yeah,
a little
just
bit.
try something a little different.
Yeah.
Got it.
I like
a
it.
little crazy on this dreary summer day.
Well, that's a good thing because we're talking about one crazy dude today.
I thought you were going to say one crazy summer. That would have been funny.
Yeah, we already did that one on the Vintage Cinema Review. Yeah, today we're talking about Billy Milligan, a.k.a. the campus rapist.
That's right.
Wasn't
Yeah.
there a song in grade school about them? Like, I am a Billy Milligan.
Yeah.
What was that? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Like something in the Milligan, something Silligan.
No, you're thinking of the Adam Sandler song.
Billy Madison.
No, that's the Hanukkah song.
No.
Put on your yarmulke. It's time to celebrate Hanukkah.
No, the Milligan and the Billy Milligan. Again.
Gilligan's
again.
Island?
No, never mind.
McGilligan's Island.
Something we sang on our block. You guys don't know about it.
I don't know that one.
No. You're still Matt from the block, though.
Thank you.
That's right.
Don't be fooled by the rocks that I got.
How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Cash me outside. So, yeah, today, Billy Milligan. That is to say, William Stanley Milligan. Born on Valentine's Day, 1955.
That's lovely.
This guy ended up what brought him down was 3 counts of kidnapping, 3 counts of aggravated robbery, and 4 counts of rape.
Now, were these all proven or alleged? These are all
100%.
100%ers.
100%.
Okay.
Now, while he and his legal team were preparing for his defense, doctors, psychiatrists, and psychologists diagnosed him with dissociative identity disorder. He and his team then claimed it wasn't him who committed the crimes, rather, 2 of his alternate personalities. He became the first person to raise such a defense and the first person acquitted of a major crime for this reason.
Interesting. Yeah.
Don't blame me, I didn't do it.
Yeah. Oh, is that the only one too? Since do we know that?
I haven't
or-
seen anything. It would have had something reading into this. I didn't see anything else.
I don't know if there's anything that's been as high profile as this was. Like, this was nationwide.
Right.
This is a big deal. This wasn't just local Ohio shit.
Like or a small crime or something where.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty much. Before we get into this though, I thought I'd pull up a mailbag item.
Oh,
So Zap, you had a question last week about it was like a trial in the Gerard John Schaefer, correct?
oh yeah. The question was, why would the defense not post their opening statement until after, opening arguments, everything? Yeah, that's it. Why would they do their opening arguments at the same time as the prosecution?
Yep.
Like, why would they delay that until after the prosecution has already presented its case?
Yeah, so I saw JW last night, and he passed along a message that he sent us, and Zap's going to read that out.
Oh,
for us.
and here it is. So, rifling through the old dirty mailbag, thank you, J Dubs. According to J Dubs, Messrs. Dave, Matt, and Zap, one would defer an opening statement under very rare circumstances to either hide your defense strategy or maybe if you think you have some smoking gun evidence in your favor. It could work in matters with multiple defendants. Otherwise, is generally a disaster because the prosecution gets first impression and jury is left wondering why the defendant hasn't piped up. Following up to that, J-Dubs continues. In listening to your shows about old Gerard, my guess is that either A, there was so much evidence against him, it was the only viable idea, or B, his lawyer wanted him locked up and out of the way. Oh, and to conclude,
The most important part.
And 3.
P.S. My bill for legal services rendered will be sent by week's end. Your retainer is low.
Yep. So speaking of that, don't forget to hit that 5-star rating, please. Help us out. This is not easy and cheap.
No,
Running a
J-Dubs is not cheap.
Yeah. We'll have to get into the old dirty change purse for that one.
I know, right? Mexican change burst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
But yeah,
That is a thing.
it's good to get an answer like that, somebody with a legal background to kind of explain that. Yeah, thanks JW for that. We'll definitely get that money over to you as soon as we can.
Yeah, we'll have to go scrounging for that. I'll go check underneath my couches in my car.
The old dirty couch cushion.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, as soon as we start making money, J-Dubs, you too shall make money.
The first one, yep.
You'll be the first one, I swear.
He's like, look, I got you guys who have like the mob out after us.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, this cat was born on Valentine's Day, you said?
Yep. I heart Valentine's Day.
That's romantic.
Yeah. So, Billy Milligan, Valentine's Day, 1955. His original name was William Morrison, son of Johnny Morrison and his mom, Dorothy Sands, who never married, by the way.
Oh, okay. So I wonder, like, if he was, part of the, the triad already, because like Dad was always on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he's traveling, California, did a lot of drugs.
Johnny Morrison, this is in Florida. So Johnny Morrison was, unless you're talking about Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
I was waiting.
Oh,
I
man.
was like, come on, guys, really?
Well, no,
You're leaving me hanging on this?
Well, it's tough to tell because his mom was in the acting business or dancing business, and not
she was like a showgirl or something. Or
not like sexy dancer, right?
like what are those called back
rock,
in the
like the Rockettes.
Yeah.
Think of one of those,
showgirl, but
Showgirl.
not the movie showgirl,
but not harlot.
No.
not a back alley Sally.
And this Johnny Morrison was actually a comedian.
Oh, cool.
Anyway,
Oh, so it kind of made sense, but yeah, get
well, he wasn't such a good dad, or that is to say, he wasn't too much into being a dad, because less than a month before Billy's 4th birthday, his dad killed himself. So this cat drove his car to a hotel, parked his car, jammed up the exhaust pipe, and died of carbon monoxide poisoning while still inside the car.
Nice.
I mean,
That's not the first time I've heard of that from people.
That was like the way to do it back in the day.
Yeah,
it seemed
like back in the day.
what is that? What happens? You just fall asleep?
Yeah,
I guess.
over time, like you just drink a lot, end
Well,
up passing out, and then the carbon monoxide.
So I guess you can, I've seen people, I shouldn't say I've seen, but I've a lot of cases where they pull in their garage and just close the garage door. But I was thinking about that like at a hotel, but I guess if you jam up the pipe, all the carbon monoxide goes in the cab.
Yep.
Actually, on one of the earlier true crimes that Matt and I did, it was the Babes in the Woods. There was a lot of theories that that's how they died. Like there were 3 young kids that died, and
they were laid down.
they were laid out
Nothing
in the woods.
was nothing wrong with them.
It just seemed like there was no signs of anybody like choking them out or doing anything. But there was people have theories that it was snowing. There was a lot of snow on the ground at that time, that the car was parked, and maybe the tailpipe, the snow overnight built up.
Yeah, he backed in and it was packed in.
And while the adults were able to survive it, the kids didn't, because their lung capacity wasn't as much. And I guess maybe the parents freaked out and were like, "Oh my God, what do we do?" And just like left the kids there, But so yeah, that makes sense. I guess if it was at a hotel out in a parking lot.
Damn. All right. It's a shitty way to go.
Yeah.
I wonder if did he do the hose thing, or I guess
We don't love them hoes?
they out the dough.
Oh, you're saying put the hose in the...
Yeah,
oh,
if we don't love them hose, it's in the dough.
Yeah.
Got
I
it.
guess.
Yep. Hose to the exhaust,
Hose,
then into the window. Maybe.
Seems like a lot of work.
That is a lot of work. And that's a lot of hose. We don't love them
There's
hoes.
some hose in his house.
There's some holes in the house.
So Billy's mom would eventually marry this dude named Chalmer Milligan, who legally adopted Billy and his 2 siblings and ended up changing their last names to Milligan.
He didn't like that.
So,
He's like, these are my kids. It's my wife, my kids.
so
Milligan.
his mom, this Dorothy Sands, Her and Johnny never married. Johnny was actually still legally married at the time that she was running around with him. So they end up having 3 kids, one of them being Billy Milligan.
So, okay. So Sands was her maiden name. Then.
Sands was her maiden name.
I got you. And this McChalmer, this guy, the McChalmer triad, maybe.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo Chalmers.
I don't trust anybody's name rhymes with Dahmer.
I agree.
You know, so maybe bad things will be coming. I don't know.
Like
Well, they just-
Unabomber.
Yeah.
They just turned like Bill Morrison. They completely changed. Now he's like Billy Milligan, like he's some Irish dude.
Yeah, like a fighter.
Like, where's he, Billy Milligan? Where's he be?
Yeah.
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
Chalmer, however, was an abusive man. He was a heavy drinker with a short temper.
Ding, ding.
Now, this guy would regularly, and I mean like almost nightly, beat Billy's mother. He often picked on Billy, whom he said couldn't do anything right. He would beat all of the kids and tell them not to tell their mother, or he would beat her. Like, does that make sense? You know,
So, like, don't tell her I'm going to beat her just for you telling her. Yeah.
Yeah, like, kid, I'm going to beat the shit out of you, and if you tell your mom on me, I'm going to beat her.
Right.
I mean, he is Irish.
Yeah, I was going to say.
What else is he supposed to do?
Yeah.
He like drinks and fights.
So
Yeah.
there were stories where the cops would be called to the house, like the neighbors would hear the commotion and shit, and cops would come to the house to break stuff up, and they would just walk away like, hey, keep it down.
Just, yeah.
Don't stop beating her. Just keep it
It's
down.
old Chalmer Milligan's up to shenanigans again.
And the kids would be like, hey, officer, look, my mom's over there bleeding, or her bones are broken or something. Can't you do something?
Mhm.
And it was at least alleged or claimed that the cops had said, well, she needs to be a better wife.
Oh
jeez,
my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
What year was this?
This is in the 60s or 50s. This is in the 50s,
50s,
in
okay.
Ohio.
Mm.
This is in Ohio.
Yeah, that's also where they had like ads of like men spanking women because they didn't listen or make the bed right.
So of all of the kids in the house, by far and away, Billy was beaten the most. Chalmer was known to tie him up in the barn and beat him senseless.
Okay, those aren't like beatings. That's like torture.
Well, and torture him.
Oh, okay.
And that includes burying him alive, pissing on him while he's in the ground, hanging him by his toes and fingers, like all kinds of wild shit. And P.S.
Oh, this is Sans
According to Billy, Chalmers sodomized him 3 times.
Yeah, that whole thing about him peeing, there was something where he said he made him dig his own grave.
Correct.
And then he said, now lay in it. And then he affixed some kind of plastic pipe.
There'd be a metal pipe.
Metal pipe, that's what it was.
That he would put over top of him. And then he would pee into the pipe. And it would just drip right onto him.
Right down onto him. Like what's that water torture thing?
How old was
waterboarding.
Billy at the time here? What are we looking at?
We're looking
Timeline.
at probably he's like 4 or 5.
Dear God.
Yeah.
I just hear that Irish, like, I wish I could do an Irish accent. Like, you could hear that, the dad's up there.
Like a leprechaun, like,
I'm going to piss on you.
I'm going to piss on you, Billy.
I'm going to piss on you, laddie.
Who's going to get it? Wow, that's so messed up.
It is bad.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible.
I mean, we're trying to make light of the situation, but a 4-year-old to even deal with that. Well, see, right. I mean, we jump back into like what made this person who he is.
Yeah.
You can't do stuff like that to a kid, man.
Can't do that.
Not that it's any better, but I think he was like around 9 at this time.
But
9 to 10.
he does get up there. Yeah, well, it lasts.
Yeah.
Like he was, it goes for years and years and years.
Jeez.
But it started at not long after this guy moved in. Not long after she got together with Chalmers, Super Nintendo Chalmers.
Pre-child abuse hotline.
So with this guy, we had discussed dissociative identity disorder. Billy's first 3 alternate personalities manifested themselves by the time he was 5 years old. So in addition to Billy, there was this other kid, No Name Boy, which was just some other boy. He just hadn't named him. Now this guy would act as Billy's friend and tell him that everything would be okay. Whenever Billy was in these times of fear or trauma, an alternate personality would pop out, start talking in a different voice and say, no, Billy, it'll be okay, man. It'll all be okay. Don't worry about it. It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Yeah, that's bad.
So that's who he like went to when he was buried alive.
Likely.
Yeah.
There was the other personality, Sean, who just had a personality similar to Billy's.
It's another Irish name.
It's like who Billy could have been if he didn't have this shitty stepdad. Does that make sense? Like this alternate life.
Right.
That was this Sean character. And then finally, there was this third alternate personality named Christine, who was just a timid and afraid little girl. This was basically what, again, he's afraid, he's traumatized right now. This is in his mind, he's now manifesting this personality of how he's really feeling. And it's just this little girl crying inside or crying outside, afraid of anything. Like you try to go beat a dog, you know how it, just clams up and, it winces back a little bit. It's that.
Yeah, and if he was doing all this by the time he was five. That would have been probably from the first father. Like, I know I did read that the father, which ended up committing suicide, tried it even a year before he was successful. So there was all kind of like mental issues with the father in the household.
That's
up until, so he probably would have had, you don't think of a 3 or 4 year old as absorbing all that.
Right.
But I'm sure he was.
No, I forgot about that. A year before his dad succeeded in committing suicide, he had attempted committing suicide by drinking half a bottle of scotch and eating half a bottle of sleeping pills.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
That's crazy.
So we have No Name Boy,
Yeah.
which is a boy with no name.
Yeah.
Sean, who's kind of like a little Irish kid, like Billy, who wasn't Irish, but now he is.
It's Billy if Billy had a different life.
Okay. And Christine, who is a 1958 Plymouth Fury.
Yes.
Red.
Precisely.
Okay.
Precisely.
Yeah.
In fact, so growing up, friends and family attest that Billy spoke as varying personalities and with different voices, like throughout his whole adolescent life. So there's at least some kind of corroboration. Like his mom saw it from the gate. His childhood friends saw it. Like he would just talk in different voices or act like different people.
He would do like Cosby impersonations.
Yeah.
And like Bobcat.
He would do Cosby, Bobcat Goldthwait. I think one time he did Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy's awesome.
Yeah. But all of his impressions were terrible too.
Oh, come on.
Oh.
Too soon. Too
Oh.
soon.
Yeah.
That was untimely.
So it is. So at age 14, after all of this was going down, his parents basically had enough. He underwent psychiatric tests for amnesia, and this is because he was actually getting suspended from school because he was missing school. It started with that. He was getting suspended or demerits or detention. He would switch personalities and just go wandering all over the place, all over town, not making his way to school. He'd often find himself in places not knowing how he'd gotten there. He'd say he had woken up, but he hadn't been sleeping. And he couldn't remember things he'd done.
So like sleepwalking, but completely
Like awake and
coherent.
Like to everybody else, but to him, he was blacking out.
Yeah, he was just in his own little world.
Didn't Joey Miller have an issue like that where he was not showing up to school and like he couldn't find his way to school, and there were some things during that?
I mean, as kids, I think we could all try to not find our way to school.
Right.
I don't think that's like a thing.
So that for sure happened.
Yeah, was that? I can't remember because he had that amnesia where he couldn't remember things past a certain point. Like,
So that is correct.
yeah,
Man, good memory, Dave. So he had the amnesia just like normal amnesia, but it's from a fixed point forward you can't remember.
so yeah, it was like
So
something.
stopping at 10 years old. So he could remember from 0 to 10, but he couldn't remember from 10 to 20 or however the hell old he was.
Yeah, there was some kind of. I was just trying to make a connection with these guys, and they both had traumatic childhoods. One went on to become a serial killer. One maybe is going to be one, and some other things. But
Who knows?
that childhood is definitely a precursor for.
Oh my
you know
God.
what I
Yeah.
mean? If you
Oh my God.
But
gone
with
through some stuff.
I mean, we're not doctors,
No,
but people with
absolutely not.
with multiple personalities. I'm thinking back to the movie Sybil, which I remember watching a while ago, but still a good movie. But the daughter had same kind of personality traits as Milligan did. But like, do they forget like when one changes to another, or do they know all of them in their mind? Do they know who they're talking to? Like which one is what at the time? I don't know.
I imagine
curious about
each
that.
case is unique.
Yeah.
And we'll find out more about Billy's, soon enough.
Okay.
But Dave, you were going to say.
Did you see that movie Sybil?
No.
I did not either. So when we get to that point, I'm curious
Okay.
if you can elaborate on that, because at some point I'm sure it'll come up again.
Starring Sally Field.
Is that who was in it?
Bingo.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Also featured in Smokey and the Bandit.
Sybil.
Sally
Yeah.
Field.
Oh, Sally Field was. Okay. I didn't know if they
Even though
referenced it.
She could have been playing a part.
She might
from
not remember
Sybil.
it.
Not remembered. Okay.
In fact, so as we're talking about these, again, he had been missing school. He would be, in his mind, blacking out like he couldn't remember shit. According to his sister, at age 14 or 15, one of his personalities had actually planned to murder Chalmer, to murder his stepfather. But Billy never remembered making these plans.
Yeah, I remember he.
Like they had a conversation about it, and she talked to him about it the next day, and he's like, "What are you talking about?"
What do you mean? Yeah. I had no idea.
Well, at the ripe young age of, not surprisingly, 17. P.S. Kip Winger's birthday was 2 days ago.
Oh yeah,
Winger's birthday,
man.
2 days ago.
we missed that.
Winger.
So at the age of 17 in 1972, this guy was arrested for an alleged kidnapping and rape. Now, he denied the charges vehemently, claiming he would never do such a thing. Now, what's...
Who, me?
Yeah, really. So, but fun fact, this was actually Milligan and a friend had picked up some women, and a few days later, those two women had accused them of rape. Milligan or his friend had said that they were prostitutes, and that Milligan couldn't perform sexually. He couldn't get it,
Oh, for real?
Yeah, couldn't get out of the gate. But in reality, Milligan claims like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I wasn't even there.
I was. Yeah, you don't even know,
You don't even know.
right?
He was too
So-
poop to pop.
So the girls are the ones that went to the authorities then.
Correct.
Oh, that's
Claiming they were robbed
Raped
and
or
raped,
robbed.
raped and robbed
and raped.
and raped.
He ended up serving 6 months in.
That's it.
6 months in like a juvenile detention center.
Wait,
Yeah.
six.
So,
He was given 6 months with no evidence of a crime.
Correct.
Well, just word the word
They-
against.
it was the chicks that said they raped us, and the guy said, "Well, no, we thought they were prostitutes."
And
So
this-
either way,
Either-
either way, they're paying for prostitutes
okay.
or they're raping. You're getting 6 months.
I'm surprised they didn't get the two prostitutes didn't get 6 months
I'm surprised.
because
In the 60s.
those same cops, went to the house, like told the wife to be a better wife and that type of stuff. Just thinking at the time.
I'm saying in the 60s. Yeah, it's funny that. But 6 months,
But
I
like-
guess.
I mean, but again, this was so he served those 6 months at the Zanesville Youth Camp.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Insane.
Hey man, I'm going off to
Is
youth
that
camp.
like Meatballs, like the movie,
It's like Vacation Bible School, but
Yeah.
youth camp.
like in a mountain?
They
up
had
in a
like
mountain somewhere?
kayaking and like
Yeah.
volleyball.
All
They
kinds
had
of
team
stuff like
sports.
that. Yeah.
A couple, Jesus. A couple of years later, at the age of 19, he was arrested for grand larceny. Now, this was an interesting one. So this guy had by now, like he developed maybe a bit of a drug habit, couldn't hold a job. So there was the gay community of this Columbus area, or Lancaster, I should say, Lancaster, Ohio. The gay community would go to like a certain location.
Is this explaining the bullet point of gay guy?
Yes.
Because I was like, you're in larceny, gay guy.
Yeah, so
Okay.
this is the gay guy. So what the gays would get together, or they just knew where to congregate.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes there would be other gay guys, like let's say not in cars, just hanging around, maybe showcasing themselves, hoping to
Pick somebody up.
pick somebody up. So this guy drives up, sees Billy standing there, thinking Billy's gay and wants to be gay with him.
Right.
Lets him in the car, and Billy just robs him.
Oh shit.
Yeah, Billy just robs him at gunpoint. It's like basically, hey man, I'm not gay, but I am going to rob you. So give me your money, give me your car, or give me whatever.
Right.
That's it.
That was that.
Yep.
So you basically grand larceny. That's just over like a certain amount.
Yep.
I got you.
Now what's because of
Yeah, stealing over a certain amount or
Yeah.
money.
JW, what is that? We
Yeah.
get that on the next one.
What
Grand-
exactly gives it larceny
grand larceny,
of the grandest stature?
not just larceny, but grand.
Grand larceny, yeah.
That's a cool band name.
Grand larceny, yeah.
1 year later, at the age of 20, he joined a pair of two other guys, and the three of them burgled a drugstore.
What did they do?
Burgled.
They burgled it.
Like the burglar, hamburger.
Yeah, the hamburger alert.
Yeah. So this is pretty straightforward. The three of them just late night broke into a drugstore, took drugs.
That's what I was gonna say.
Stole
Yeah,
probably.
there was
drugs.
drugs and drinking involved
Yeah,
in that.
they didn't break into a lumberyard.
No.
They broke into a drugstore. for drugs. He went to prison for only a few months, though, after a plea bargain. It's like, hey, man, well, the other two guys did it.
I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, these
I
other
was
two
just
guys
along.
They all ratted
criminals,
each other out, and then they were like, whatever. You all ratted each other. You all were involved.
I mean, he's building quite the track record by now. You would think this guy, it's like you're looking at his list of offenses and stuff, that by now you would have been like,
a laundry list.
no plea
of
bargain.
offenses.
I would have been like, nah,
No, but he hasn't done anything.
rape.
Like, yeah, you have the alleged
Alleged
kidnapping and
robbery.
rape, grand larceny. He
These-
beat up some gay guy.
These are all victimless crimes.
Yeah, that's why those cops are like, well, prostitutes, gay
Yeah, prostitutes,
guys.
gay guy. Back in, they were like, this guy's really not doing anything
He said-
wrong. Like, what?
He's getting a
What do you want us to do to this
Citizen
guy?
of the Year award.
They thought he was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Top shelf. Yeah.
Stan Lee was doing a book on this guy. Like, Billy Milligan.
He was bitten by a poisonous
Yeah,
leprechaun.
yeah. This guy's a hero.
This guy's yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. Not long after he was released, however, Milligan was again arrested. This time for rape and armed robbery. Now, by now, let's see. At age 20, which would have been 75, that's when he did the drugstore thing. So he got out of there after a few months. So let's say, I don't know. It looks to
Says
me,
not long after.
yeah, it looks like he was in prison for maybe, or he was paroled maybe 6 months to a year after he was arrested for the rape and armed
Yeah,
robbery.
6 to a year.
Yeah.
So this was in early 1977. So he's building himself a track record.
And none of this, like those personalities in the beginning that we were talking about.
They
nothing.
didn't. They didn't manifest themselves, like
No.
not at all.
So every time he's in front of law enforcement, or he's just Billy Milligan,
Yeah.
basically. Okay.
But who knows who he was during these
During the events.
events? I mean, it could have been a switch,
Indeed.
which he used. I mean, I don't know. We'll find out.
Wow. In 77, tensions were high in the summer at Ohio State University. They had a serial rapist prowling their grounds. After having been identified by one of the victims from existing police mugshots of sex offenders, and thanks to fingerprints lifted from a car of one of the other victims, the alleged rapist was identified as none other than Billy Milligan. So there were 3 chicks that were raped. One of them was in there looking at mugshots again of obviously of sex offenders. This was the mugshot of him that he had gotten just not but a year
6 to
earlier.
a year prior.
Right.
Yeah, for that rape and armed robbery. So now his picture's on file. So was his fingerprints, which they lifted from the car of an other victim.
You know, if it won't be for the fingerprints, like I was thinking about the mug shots, and like all those dudes back in the day looked like him. Like if you
Like
saw
Jim Morrison.
100%.
So because I had like a couple uncles that looked like that growing
Everybody
up,
had the same haircut, same
Yeah.
mustache.
just that hair with the mustache. I could just picture them leaning on their car, like for a picture. You know what I mean? Like they got a Z28 or something. They just had that look with the jeans and the
They were all looking like
Joe Dirt,
yeah.
minus the
that's-
mullet.
minus the mullet.
Well, like McConaughey a little
That's
bit.
what you
That
say. It
look.
looked like Matthew McConaughey.
That's
Yeah.
perfect.
in that
That's
movie.
a perfect example.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit longer hair. Wooderson.
Wooderson, yeah.
What if they like made fun of kids? Like if they had like a short haircut. They'd be
Yeah,
like,
if you
what'd you
went
do to
back-
your hair, man?
Square.
Square.
Yeah, if you had that like 50s cut.
Or you look like you were joining the military or something.
Yeah.
Probably you weren't like a.
Things go through cycles, you know what I mean? Like in the 50s, you had the crew cut, like
Yep.
the tighter, you know, or like the slick back hair. And then it got crazy in the 60s and 70s. And when we were in high school, well, 80s was feathered.
Yep.
90s was kind of still feathered a little bit, but then you would, like bowl cuts were in at one point. What other haircuts? I'm trying to even
Well, they
think.
say, but it's funny because guys stay to like to where they're like where their best times were. That's
You don't
usually,
age out after?
Yeah, that's usually like the style they stick with. 'Cause,
I've been doing my hair the same way since I've been in high school.
high school.
Really? Yeah.
And I think like a lot of people like stay at that point of like their style or like their hair. Or,
They just never go past it.
like my dad can't get rid of the Selleck and the Selleck style. Like his hair and mustache have been the same since.
Just always the same.
It's always the same.
And now kids got perms again. Now
Yeah,
they
yeah.
always get
And the
their hairs-
mullets are back.
And the mullets.
Mullets
yeah.
are back, for like the wrestling crew. I see a lot of like wrestler kids, got the mullets, farmer kids.
Yeah, they're into mullets.
Point being, I think in any certain era, like all all the people look alike almost. Like it'd be, for me, mugshots would be, but maybe that's just me looking at the picture. Like, oh, everybody in the 70s looked like that.
I wish I could grow my hair a little longer and look cool, but it doesn't work.
If I could have thicker hair, I would grow my hair longer for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh well.
And there's some like champions that just like they still got the long, like they're still with like winger.
Correct.
Yeah. There's some guys out there like in their 50s and 60s that can't cut the hair.
Never
man.
cut it. Yeah,
They're rocking it. So with having been identified from his mugshot and with the fingerprints lifted from the car, in October of 1977, Milligan was arrested for the rapes of 3 women from the Ohio State University campus. At the time of his arrest, he went quietly, almost timidly, and provided no resistance whatsoever. When police searched his house, they found driver's licenses and property belonging to the 3 rape victims.
Which is
Where have we seen that before?
it's always.
Yeah, always.
They always have to keep something.
I mean, we just did that with what's his name?
That guy.
Short Schaefer.
Schaefer. Dahmer did that.
Yep.
Oh, mostly all serial killers or rapists always
What's that,
have something.
like,
keepsake.
Memento.
Yeah, Joey Miller.
Memento.
Yeah.
It's a movie for review.
Yeah, I like that movie.
That was
yeah.
a cool movie.
We should do it just in chronological order, though.
Yeah, that's what I always. Yeah, I would like to do that.
That'd be hard to do, but we could do it. We could do it.
So also at his house, the cops found guns, which matched the guns described by the victims.
What, were they like antiques or something?
I mean, how accurate could you get? I wonder on a.
So is it a
like a
pistol or a
handgun.
revolver?
Yeah.
Is it,
Okay.
Is it, is it stainless steel or is it
Black, all black.
all black? Whatever.
True. Yeah, I guess so. Did you
Let's not forget though, this guy was on parole for the rape and armed robbery that he served 6 months or a year for, not but earlier that year.
right? So
You
he has
find guns at your house, fuck.
you're done. Yeah.
Yeah.
They touched on that in the documentary, how they showed up as a pizza delivery man at the house.
I missed it.
Yeah, because when they at the time, I guess, weren't sure what they were coming in on. Would this be the guy by himself? Was he going to be there with other roommates, like other guys there? And the guy was going alone to apprehend him, I guess. So he went as a pizza delivery guy, rang the bell, and then as soon as he answered the door, Milligan, he recognized him. So he knew, and he didn't see him. He's like, hey, pizza. And he's like, I didn't order a pizza. And then when he confronted him, and he was like, no, I'm here to arrest you for, and then he, like you said, no problem.
Like, okay.
He's like, for what? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. He was just playing dumb, but not like aggressive or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
That was nothing on any episode of Cops I've ever seen.
What's
Like
that?
they never nothing's ever peaceful.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
it's always like
They're like breaking the door down, like an old apartment. They got like 5, and then 10 guys jump in.
Yeah.
They're wrestling everybody, tackling people.
It never goes like that. Yeah.
No, alas, it does not. Ultimately, Billy was charged with 3 counts of kidnapping, 3 counts of aggravated robbery, and 4 counts of rape. I guess he raped one of the broads twice.
Oh, geez. So you can get charged. For
Sure.
each-
Well,
oh,
sure, yeah. Anytime it's not consensual.
It's not just one body rape; it's the instances
Yeah.
of the act.
So like if you like in the same session or whatever.
Let's say Matt slips you a roofie, and then Matt rapes you in your sleep,
Right.
and then
So graphic.
he does it again 2 days later,
No, but
and
what
then he
about
does it again 2 days
that's
later.
3 counts.
That's 3 counts of butt rape,
But what if Matt drugs me
and I asked for it.
and I wanted it? No.
Oh.
What if he
Well,
would?
that happened to Cosby.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
So pretend you're Cosby.
Cosby.
They drugged him, or he drugged himself.
No. They're saying like he was doing drugs with like just random people, and he still was charged. I mean, I don't know exactly all. Maybe some of them were.
That man's innocent.
My question is, all right,
sorry,
say Matt Cosby here drugs me.
Take the pink ones. I'll take the blue. Camille, I didn't do nothing.
So now I'm out, right? And he does his thing,
Yep.
and then like 10 minutes later, he's like does it again.
Yeah.
Is that 2 counts of
That's
rape?
2
100%. If you
But-
didn't ask for it, it's
Right.
count by count by. It's instance by instance by instance. All right. So yeah, rape, and rape. So now he's under arrest. While awaiting trial, he was placed in the Ohio State Penitentiary. Now, his defense lawyers, after meeting with him, they saw right away that something wasn't quite right with Billy. He had no idea what was going on. Like, why was he in jail? He was confused about everything.
Ohio State Penitentiary, isn't it what they called the Buckeye defense like a couple years ago?
Is that, did they
When,
call
like,
it that?
people going to jail and stuff.
Really?
It might have. I don't
No,
know.
never mind. I'm thinking of Miami. That was the Hurricanes. I'm sorry.
Could very well have been the
Yes,
Hurricanes. So once these defense attorneys are like, well, how many times we got to tell you, Billy, you're arrested for these robberies, the kidnappings, and these rapes. And he just kept on saying, I don't understand. Why am I here? Why am I here? What did I do wrong? So not long into it, doctors, psychiatrists, and psychologists were consulted. This guy then underwent multiple IQ tests. Now, what's weird about this is that the results would differ drastically from day to day. So he would take one on one day, one the next day, one the next day. And they would see levels of intelligence that would range from close to retardation all the way up to beyond Einstein
Like
genius. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't read I heard he was very smart, but beyond Einstein is crazy.
Insane, off the charts genius. And again, this was just different tests. So then they also took EEG tests, and the results were the same. Like, that is to say, they would differ drastically from day to day. So EEGs are used to determine like brain disorders and shit like that, like epilepsy, tumors, damage, shit like that.
I thought I took EEG a couple times and it didn't do anything. It was bonk.
EEG was wasn't he the band leader from Saturday Night Live back in the 90s?
Oh, yeah. That
He played
blonde
with
guy.
Huey Lewis also.
Yeah.
You talking about that blonde dude with
Yeah.
long hair?
EEG in the Saturday Night
Yeah.
Live
That's
band.
It's actually E.E. Smith.
E.E. Smith. Yeah.
He looked like Daryl Hall.
Yes, yeah.
Kinda,
yeah.
He
That
played
guy.
with
Or
Daryl
like
Hall.
kind of
It's
Wang
crazy.
Chung-ish too, a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
His face moved in the most incredible ways when he played. Yeah. Anyways. So anyway, the results of these EEGs would indicate like the waves of someone that were much younger, like a kid's brain, and next day it was taken, it looked like an old man's brain.
Right.
Do you think him
wild.
being two different, actually, like he was two different people? He was William Morrison, then he was, Billy Milligan.
Maybe.
So,
So maybe what you're saying that
like in his brain, like, I mean, he
I changed
actually,
last names. I used to be.
I used to
Billy
be this person. I
Billy
used to be this
Morrison.
person. Who else am I? Like, can I be this person? Or,
Just switch names. And,
well, just to escape when your dad's peeing on you in your own grave that you
Yeah.
dug.
that you had to dig.
Like,
Yeah.
you don't want to be, you're not in your same, you're not the same person. You want to be out of that situation. So your mind probably does stuff that you're not even aware of.
yeah, so you can look in on it
Yeah.
instead of being
yeah.
there.
Instead of being there. I don't know. He was already two different people. I don't know. I'm just putting weird things
No,
together.
that's not so. That's not the. I mean, that's entirely possible. Like you're told as a kid, "Hey, man, kid, you got a brand new name. We're not calling.
Yeah,
you
we're not calling- yeah.
Billy Milligan. We're not calling you Billy Morrison. You're now going to be Billy Milligan."
So then in your, like, who am I really? Like, okay, I guess I'm this guy now. And then for what his dad did to him, who knows?
I'm gonna switch it up again.
Yeah.
So over the course of this preparation for trial period, he ended up with a number of diagnoses: acute schizophrenia, multiple personality disorder, and ultimately dissociative identity disorder. So for all the kids out there, dissociative identity disorder is in a moment of stress. Basically the victim wishes to escape from the trauma. The victim's personality at that time runs away or goes to sleep, and another personality comes in and takes its place. So in Milligan's case, whichever personality is present at the time is considered on the spot. That's a phrase he would use.
On the spot?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
whenever he was talking as whomever personality they would, or about somebody else or about one of the other personalities, that personality would be considered on the spot.
Interesting.
I'm interested. So at this point, this is in preparation for trial, but now he's got these psychiatrists, psychologists, doctors, and shit looking at him. There was a total of 10 personalities in this guy's brain. Yep.
Hey guys, can you wrap it up?
Oh, hey guys, I guess that means it's about that time.
Jeez. Where does the time go?
And this might be a good point in the story to kind of cut it off for now. So let's kind of recap what we looked over here.
Well, I mean, we went through Billy's early childhood. We certainly found out about his mom and his birth father killing himself. We learned about his stepfather, who tortured the shit out of this poor guy. And I mean, tortured him.
Big time.
We learned that by the time he was 4 or 5, he had already developed 3 other personalities. By the time he was 14, he was skipping school because he was blacking out and just having basically waking dreams.
Yeah.
Just wandering around,
Not
doing
knowing
his thing.
not knowing where he'd been. He had his late youth, early 20s crime spree. His first big one was for a kidnapping and a rape, which he denied. But his partner, the guy he was with, said it was just he couldn't get it up.
Right.
2 years later, arrested for grand larceny for going after the gay guy.
Which is stealing, or it was armed robbery, basically.
Yep. Let's see. He knocked over a drugstore with 2 of his buddies. Knocked over a
He
drugstore.
pushed it down.
He pushed it down, like the big bad wolf.
Yeah.
Huffed and puffed. And then while on parole for the burgled drugstore, he was arrested for rape and armed robbery. Released on parole 6 months later in 1977. Then in 1977, while on parole for a previous rape, he rapes 3 different chicks at Ohio State University.
The campus rapist.
The campus rapist. While under arrest, while awaiting trial, he's explained, and his defense team is there trying to help him out. They realize that he's not all there. He goes through test after test after test. He goes through doctor after psychologist after psychiatrist. And lo and behold, it's either acute schizophrenia, multiple personality disorder, or ultimately dissociative identity disorder.
Wow.
That's what we give him.
That was a lot. And he's not even, 22 by now? 22, 23, something like that?
He'd
20
be
something.
22.
Yeah, so there's a lot of shit going on in his life. And there's still a lot more to come.
Still.
Yeah, the cards are stacked.
Yeah. So what'd you think, Matt?
Interesting story. There's a lot of other stuff that I think we'll talk about in the second part with these multiple personalities. There's another one that crossed my mind, the story of Sybil.
Yeah, I want to hear more about that.
Yeah, we can talk about it a little bit later in the second part. But this is a really, really interesting story.
Second part, I think there's going to be, obviously, Zap's going to go over each individual personality. I think there's going to be a lot of celebrity names that get thrown around. This is tied to a lot of different things down the road.
That's right.
And there's going to be a lot of cool shit to tune into. I'm getting the evil eye from the wife, so I guess we should wrap it up. You guys got anything else quick?
Nope. Let's just get the hell out of here before you get in trouble.
Yeah. So don't forget to tune in for part 2 of this, Billy Milligan. And you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Old Dirty Basement, and on TikTok at Old Dirty Basement Podcast. I guess that's it for now, so we'll catch you where?
On the flip side.
If we don't see you sooner, we'll see you later.
Peace. Thanks for hanging out in the Old Dirty Basement. If you dig our theme music like we do, check out the Tsunami Experiment. Find them on Facebook. Their music is available streaming on Spotify and Apple, and where great music is available.
You can find us at Old Dirty Basement on Facebook and Instagram, and at Old Dirty Basement Podcast on TikTok.
Peace.
We outie 5,000.